As you know, the brand context area is what allows you to give more context about what you do, what your business is about to the AI so as to improve the generation process. All you need to do is drop your URL in here. I'm gonna use the National Gallery of Art. You tap on generate and this will scrap a whole bunch of information from it. So your brand logo, your product description, your industry, and as you can see, it has already loaded now. If you want to go into more details into any of this generated stuff and mainly into the product that you're offering, you can add it in here. So for example, let's say that you also offer coaching lessons, or I don't know, we are the National Gallery of Art right now. So maybe we offer art classes, courses, and also selling tickets. You can add all of the details in this same section that you can completely edit at your will. Now here below, you'll also find the primary and secondary color section. In here, this is important because this will actually feed the AI creative generation process, meaning our smart creative features. If you simply select any of these colors from here, if you have a hex code, you can drop it in here. Otherwise, you can just play around with it until you find some colors that you like and that of course match one another, right? And that will help with that creative generation process. Then you'll find this instructions area that will be generated by default as soon as you scan your website, but you can edit as much as you want, so you can tell it to avoid emojis, avoid hashtags, or tell it more about your audience, like if you're aiming at college students and so on. We have also launched 2 cool features within Meta. So here within the launcher now, you might notice something different, and it's actually within this middle section. Take a close look at it and I'm gonna tell you now. So on the bottom, now you will find this toggle between dynamic and standard ads. This means that you know how usually we generate by default the ads in a way that the dynamic creative allows you to ABCD test the different combinations of your copy with your images, with your headlines and so on. So it rotates all of them in multiple combinations, meaning that 4 images with 4 headlines and 4 descriptions combine to a total amount of 64 different unique combinations out there. But we know that some of you wanted to get some standard ads in there, meaning 1 image, 1 headline, and 1 description. And this is something you can now turn on in this way. So as you can see, this generates this kind of ads. In here you can also switch between images and videos. Remember, you will only be choosing 1 per ad, meaning in here you will choose, for example, this video that you see in here. I'm gonna choose it over here. Then you choose your primary text, you choose your headline, and below you'll have a second ad. So in this case, I'm gonna select, instead of a video, an image of the same, image generation kind that we use here. There is also the headline, same thing, 1 unique combination of image, primary text, and headline. And then you can do a third variation, simply this horizontal one, so that you can check it out how this works. I'm gonna just remove this 4th one and show you now that you can toggle between these and super quickly see what you're advertising. As you can see, these are now 3 combinations only, so these are not gonna randomly combine with each other. This might be powerful for testing specific hooks that you want to test out in different ads. So if you have your targeting set up, if you got a clear idea in there and you would like to approach, for example, university students, testing out different tones, different hooks in there, you can combine a specific video with a specific headline, with a specific body, and then rotate those 3 or 4 or 5 variations, as many as you want. You'll be able to add more by tapping on this add button on the bottom of this creative section. And as you can see, you can keep on adding in here. And I told you there was a second meta update. Now on the top right of the left configuration panel, as usual, you'll find the goal of your meta campaign in this case. If you tap on it, you'll now be able to select awareness. And there are 2 possibilities as goals of your awareness campaigns. One of them is to maximize reach, basically showing to as many people as possible. and the other one is basically optimizing for people who watch the entire video. This is a really powerful option because you can launch your top of funnel campaign with this awareness goal optimizing towards video watch time, and then on your targeting section, remember that you can also generate a custom audience on the retargeting tab from people who have watched your videos from here. So you can select at least 25% of your video or 50% of your video, depending on how broad you want to go. You can raise your audience retention, you generate your retargeting audience. So you can either generate a lookalike audience from that custom audience to tell Meta, go look for similar users than these guys, or you can directly retarget them and tell them, hey, you were interested in our video, well, why don't you free trial our platform, or why don't you subscribe to our newsletter, or any kind of mid-funnel action that you choose. And another exciting feature for our stronger LinkedIn users is that retargeting is here, and you'll find it within the platform on the targeting tab. And just like with Meta, if you have been using the retargeting features, you'll find it in the contact list audience. Once you create it, it will populate this dropdown over here, and below it you'll find this create audience by uploading a list option. So you can choose between user lists and company lists, and you'll have, as usual, a template to kind of fill it out and make it easier for you if you haven't ever created retargeting audiences based on CSVs, basically. Next to it, you'll find the formatting guidelines directly from LinkedIn. So, another really cool feature that we really wanted to tell you about was the capability to quickly generate more creatives. Let's say that you just prompted, you can simply tap on generate more, and this will restart the process of creative generation. Maybe you just need more creatives for your ad, maybe you just like some variations more than other, or maybe you simply want to see what happens when you tap on generate more. This will basically give you a whole bunch of new assets in here. And remember, if you want, you can simply tap on the Smart Creative option, go to New Creative, and in here you'll get the detailed forms with all the primary and secondary colors, and even each individual headline, description, title, and feature being used for creative generation. You can either reprompt over here to generate new headlines and descriptions, or simply drop your own stuff in here, tap on create, and this will start generating a whole new bunch of creatives with your updated headlines, descriptions, and everything you dropped in there. You might have also noticed this small resize button on the bottom of each of these smart creative generated images and videos as well. So these are for when you like, for example, this image generated over here, but you want it also on vertical display or on horizontal display. So in this way you simply tap on it and it will generate that variation, but now for a vertical format. So that is a great way to not have to reprompt every time until you get the correct one, and in this way it will have a vertical variation for you in no time. In the Smart Creative area, you'll also find this Generate More button in the bottom of this screen, basically. And we have also been improving the generation of copy and the functionality of this. So if you got any feedback, simply write to us so that we can keep improving it together. Another thing that we have updated is the cropping selector. So now when you are tapping an image to select the different sizes for the different placements, you'll find this selector beneath it, which makes it much easier to understand for both you and your clients how to actually set it up. All you need to do is, if they're active, they will be selected. If they're inactive, it will be much clearer for them. You tap on Save Changes and you add them as usual. So that was all from my end, but I'll leave you with Emmy, who's gonna be sharing with you some other cool stuff we have been launching.
Updates we have regarding the PMAX campaigns. First of all, we have now introduced the long headlines to the assets that you can add to your existing PMAX campaign. So for example, in this case, if you click in here, which says long headlines, you can add up to 4 long headlines to your campaign, and you can generate them by tap on generate here, or you can change these existing long headlines by clicking on these star icons, like I like to call them, and then you can shorter them, longer them, or change their tone to any specific tone that you would like to change it. For example, a formal, conversational, professional. So for example, let's say that we need a more serious approach. So we click here on serious, click on generate. Let's wait a second until it generates the content that we want. And then the only thing that you have to do is to look up for the different variations that it have been generated, and then just click on accept, and then it will be applied right here. You can add more text to it if you want to reach out to the maximum amount of characters, that is 90. And then another cool feature that we have added, and it has been highly requested, is the possibility to add search themes to our targeting. With these search themes, Google will take them as signals, so it can get a better understanding of the audience that you would like to reach out. So to do so, head over to the targeting section, click on this drop down right here, click on edit, and then start to adding some search themes to your campaign. Let's say digital marketing. Oh, I think it's already, yeah, it has been already added. It will show you if it has been already added to your campaign. Let's say marketing for agencies maybe, and you can add them, and then just close it, and remember to always click on launch campaign to update any changes you have made to your campaign. The last feature that we added to the YouTube ad campaigns is the possibility to add a call to action, right? So in order to do it, here we have the call to action. We can add it manually, or we can tap on generate here at the prompt area, tap on generate, and let's wait 10 seconds. So now it's here. We have the call to action that it has been generated. Remember that you can add up to 10 characters. And then if you don't want to use this, learn more, maybe if you have an e-commerce, you can use shop now. Or if you have a lead company or enterprise, maybe what you can do is to add apply now as your call to action.
Feature. So we've been updating these features so much. We're constantly improving. We hear all your feedback, so thank you. Please keep the feedback coming. What I wanted to show you today is that you can launch campaigns with the Optimize for Me feature already enabled. So I don't know if you knew that, but when you create a new campaign, of course, you're going to prompt, you're going to select the images, the videos, make sure that the primary text, the targeting, and everything is correctly set up. And when you click here in optional, you're going to see that you can enable the Optimize for Me feature from campaign creation. So you can now launch the campaign, and the Optimize for Me feature will start learning. We start learning all the with all the A/B testing that the campaign will start doing, and it will take the decision of improving the headlines and the descriptions that maybe they are not working as well as other headlines or descriptions. So that way, the system is going to constantly optimize your assets so that you have all the time the best performing combinations showing. Exciting, right? Now, let's suppose that you have a campaign that is already running and you want to enable the Optimize for Me feature. In that case, we're going to head over to the Advertise tab, click on the little stars option, and this is where you're going to see like the assets performance, right? So the first thing that you're going to see is that you can enable the Optimize for Me feature right here. It's this little switch. And here you're going to see the best performing combination of your assets and the lowest performing combination. So you're going to see that A/B testing that we do with the campaigns. You're going to see what is working and what's not working. So for example, in this case, you're going to be able to see what is the creative asset that is working. So that way you can see, okay, this meme in this case is working, but this one is not working. So we can keep on creating memes like this and not like this other meme. Okay, and in the case of the text assets, you're going to see right here that you have different tabs. So for the primary text, for the images. So for the primary text, you're going to see what the performance was. So for example, in this case, we can see that this text is having a bad performance. So we know that the system is going to optimize this asset, it's going to remove it and it's going to replace it by a different version of one that is at its best performance. How we can see that? Okay, we'll head over to the optimizations little tab, and here you're going to see all the optimizations that the campaign was doing. The optimize for me feature is automatic, so you just enable it and this will happen without you even noticing. So it's an hands-off experience. So you're going to see that, for example, this headline was changed, the old asset is right here, and you know what is the new asset, and you don't have to worry because this is going to happen automatically without you even noticing. So your campaign will be optimized, showing the best performing assets all the time. So another amazing feature that we have at play is the option for you to group your campaigns inside optimization folders. So optimization folders, what will help you do is allocate the budget in an intelligent way. So let's suppose that you have 3 different campaigns and you're unsure of which campaign is going to have a better result. What you can do is you create the 3 campaigns. They can be Google, they can be Facebook, they can be TikTok, whatever platform. You can select those campaigns and group them inside what we call optimization folders. So the way to group your campaigns inside an optimization folder is you simply select them like this, and you click on Move to Folder. This way you're going to select the folder that you want to group them into, click Move, and that's it. Now let's see how to activate the optimization folder. We're going to click on our folder, and this will take us to this view, right? So once you have the campaigns grouped in here, you can turn on the optimization. Please note that if you don't have at least 3 campaigns, you won't be able to turn on the optimization. We need at least 3 campaigns. So if you scroll down, at first, of course, you're not going to see this timeline that will be completed, but this is because you didn't enable the optimize for me in the folder. So if you scroll down, you're going to see the full list of the campaigns that you grouped here. So you see that what platform this campaign is, the campaign name, what the campaign objective is. This is really important that we see it here. And you will see that by default this is going to show it in automatic. There are various metrics that we take into consideration for the optimization of the budget of your campaigns, like CTR, cost per click, cost per lead, cost per conversion. So there are a lot of metrics that we take into consideration, but if you want to prioritize one of these metrics, you can simply click here and select, for example, what is the metric that you want to prioritize and what the target value is. So you can select either click-through rate, cost per click, or cost per conversion. Once you set this up, the system is going to analyze the performance of all the campaigns and make the decisions. So for example, in this case, we're going to see that for the Google campaign, the budget was decreased by a 14%. But in the case of the Meta ad, this budget was increased by a 10%. So the idea is that your overall budget is considered and the campaigns are going to start allocating the budget in an intelligent way. So that way you have your best performing campaigns with most of the budget and you're not losing budget to campaigns that maybe are not performing as well.